Hey everybody, this is LBA Uturo, the Fancy Action Now, and this is my 4th of July mega haul. Okay, very recently I traveled to Fort Pierce, which is on the east coast of Florida near West Palm Beach. And I was there to look at a cruising yacht, which I'm thinking about selling my house, getting a cruising yacht, and doing a live-aboard lifestyle. Okay, now that that's out, we can talk about video games, okay? So, I was on the other coast. So after I got done looking at a Beneteau 523 cruising yacht, which I'm going to, thinking about selling my house and living aboard a boat and completely changing my lifestyle. While I was over there, in Fort Pierce. When I got done looking at the Beneteau 523, 3-cabin, 3-head config, I was in Mass Furling. Okay, so I was done, and I'm like, well, let me look at pawn shops. And I'm like, oh, 2 minutes away, there's a Cash America pawn, and hey, 2 minutes the other direction is a value pawn. And I found a total of, in the immediate area, I had found 5 total pawns. Now, 2 of them were trash garbage and had nothing of interest. And 3 of them were fruitful. And I found some hard to find in the wild games. I found some unusual stuff you don't see. And I have one almost paranormal game find. You're like, well, wait, was it a haunted game? Is it a survival horror? Is there a ghost? Is it like Fatal Frame? No. It was a paranormal experience. And one thing I'd like to let everybody know about Florida is Florida's big. Took me about 3 hours to get there and 3 hours back. But while I was there, I did seize the opportunity. And I'm kind of glad I did. I'm like, do you really want to run around? And, you could just drive home right now and you'd be home by like 5 o'clock. And, it's like, don't you just want to just, I'm like, no, I've got to go look. I've got to go look. So there were 2 private single locations that were very good. And there was one Cash America that was very good. Now, the one private location, which was a very well-kept boutique. I mean, it was just really well designed. It looked like kind of like a high-end audio store. It was really well done. Beautiful cases, beautiful recessed lighting, and it was just very nice. And they had a lot of $5, $10 prices on their game, and I'm like, man, I wonder if they'll deal. So I got together. See, this is what I always do, and it is hard when you have to do a walk away. It is hard to do a walk away once you've done this, but I do it anyway because you can't win them all, and you got to be able to walk away when the deal isn't good. That's just it. That's my one rule. If it isn't a good deal, I'm walking off. I could love it. I could be like, oh my God. And I've done that. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe I found this game. And if I can cut a deal, I'll work it. And if it's just finally hands up, because every once in a while you get an arrogant pawn store manager. Most of them are just golden, wonderful people. But every now and again, you got to go, no, and I'm getting, I'm getting $30 on that. I'm getting $25.99 on that. You got to be kidding. They won't move, they won't budge, they won't take a buck off, they won't give you a bulk deal. You just got to walk off and teach them. You got to vote with your dollar, man. You got to teach them, hey, man, you got to keep that money flowing. And if you're making a little bit of profit and you can turn it around, that's what you need to do. But that being said, I walked into this boutique pawn shop in Fort Pierce, and they had a wonderful selection. They had a lot of titles I didn't have. They definitely had some stuff I wanted. I even left a few things behind because it was just too much. But I put them all up, and I thought a young man came home and said, "Hey, how's it going? What's going on?" And I said, "Hey, man, you know, you have a beautiful store here. I love to say that. I always go in, and I tell you what, if they have a dingy store, if it's a shit store, it's gross or it's ill kept, I do not compliment the store. But if it is well kept, it's clean, things are relatively organized. Doesn't have to be beautiful, but like this store was very well organized. But if it is decently organized where I can find what I'm looking for, I don't have to dig through anything, et cetera, I let them know. I said, hey, you got a really clean store here. That's the beginning of my sales pitch. That's the beginning, because it's a clean store. I know that I'm likely to, it's going to be organized. It's going to again, value my time so I don't have to dig through things. And, you know, what's the price of this and where do you keep this? And, you know, it's just easier. If it makes it easier for me, I'm going to tell them. And I walked into this store and I said, you know, you have a really clean and organized store here. This is a very nice looking shop. Thanks, man. Thank you. We appreciate that feedback. Burr, 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 burr. That's my first pitch right there. I haven't even picked up a game, and that's my pitch, right? So I walk over to the game rack, which is beautifully organized by system, and you know everything's individually priced, which I don't always like. Sometimes you get the better deal in the dingy stores because they don't give a damn. They don't care about the way the store looks. They don't care what they're getting on the games. Oh yeah, buck, whatever. They don't look, they don't check. It's just like, oh, well, sure, okay. That's what I got with like Red Steel 1 and 2. I walked into this in the hood, the deep hood. They had both copies of Red Steel 1 and 2. They were both complete. And I said, yeah, you know, these old games, and I still have a Wii. You think, what do you want on these? You know, and I'm like, he's like, oh, man, I don't know, $4. I go, each? He goes, nah, for both. I'm like, sold. So I gather up the ones that I definitely wanted, and I put them on the counter, and a young guy comes over to me, and I said, hey, man, you know, I'm from out of town. I saw your store. I pulled in. It's really a nice store. I said, but, you know, I'm not used to paying this much. I'm usually paying like $2 or something, 1, 2, 3 maybe. And I said, you know, you guys have a lot of games here I like. It's like 5 and 10. It's a little too much for me. I go, is there anything you can do for me? Like, let's say I got 10 titles or, you know, something like that. You know, he's like, oh, yeah, we can help you out. He went and go talk to the manager. The manager came over to me, and he was a chill dude, man. He was just like, hey, you know, half-lidded gaze. He's like, hey, how are you, sir? Yeah? You want me to do something on these games, huh? 50% off. I said, all of them? He goes, yeah. Take what you like. Okay. So I was like, oh, bro, this guy was like, this guy's a straight shooter. He's in here. He's complimenting my place, making my people feel good. He likes video games. I got these doubled up anyway. Yeah, I'll give it to him. Yeah, there you go. So I got like 50% off whatever it was marked. Most of them were marked $5. So I got them for $2.50. I think one he gave me like I'm not sure. I think one he gave me $1. But it was a nice deal. It was a nice deal. So I went ahead and took advantage of that. So let's begin. So here's the stack. Here's the stack. And of course you have those Magic Invisible games up there. So there you go. There you go. Wow. Okay. So the first thing, now I did have a look. I cleaned them up. They're all categorized. They're all cataloged in my game app or in my game collection app. So they're processed. They're processed. They're ready to go. But this one is Master of Illusion. This is in a $1 bin. And I had to make sure that the guy understood that this was dollar bin, because he charged me like full-blown money, used full-blown money. But he I tried to remind him that these were in the dollar bin, and now this one he charged me real money for. Now this, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to show you this one. This is Eye of Judgment. Some of you may be familiar with it. It works with the PlayStation camera, and it is a card game / adventure game that you follow along with in the game. It is complete, but this is not the box set. There's a box set that comes with cards and a board and a whole like starter kit. This isn't it. This is just the game by itself, but I don't have it. So there you go. It looks interesting. I don't know. Does anybody know BioArmor? It's the one guy I'm like, the one guy who might know about Eye of Judgment is BioArmor. BioArmor, do you know about Eye of Judgment? What's the deal with Eye of Judgment, man? So now, one guy had one, and I paid the money for it. This one was $5. I know. I can hear the pearl clutching as we speak. $5, Toro? That's real money. You're right, it is real money. And because if you know about this game and you know its value, then $5 was a good deal, right? Good deal. So I'm just getting some adhesive off of this thing, which I thought I'd already done. But anyway, so this is Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate. So it's not Dead or Alive 5. It's Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate. And it is worth more than the base game. It is the big one. The Ultimate in Fighting Entertainment. So this one is the one to get. And it is close to 20. It's close to 20 in value. And it's a decent copy. I'd call it a B copy. The case is a little beat up. There's a little stickeritis. But there it is. Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate. Ultimate on the PS3. And I am a fighting game fan. Wah-ha! Now, there's not... You know what's funny is there's not as much money in fighters as shooters or shmups. I call them shooters from back in the day. They're also known as shmups. I don't like the word shmup, so I say shooter. The shooters carry they carry more money, but the fighters carry like shooters retain their value and always go up and go up and go up. Fighters do the same thing, kind of like at that. It's like shooters are McDonald's and fighters are Burger King, and I've always liked Burger King better. So it's kind of like I'm in the fighter genre. So when I see a good fighter, especially a rare one like that one, I mean, when was the last time you saw Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate out there? I mean, I haven't. That's the first time I've ever seen it in the wild. So yeah, I paid the $5 for that, and it's worth like okay, you're gonna make me pull my phone out. We're doing a 4th of July live stream. Mega haul. All right, here we go. Hold on. Hold on, baby. Hold on. All right, so we're going to go to PlayStation 3, and we're going to go Dead or Alive. We can just, like, search. This is great about this. Dead or Alive Ultimate. That's not so much. It's... Oh, no, that's the wrong system. Now, I have Dead or Alive 5, the regular game, and then the Ultimate. The Ultimate is $17. $16.98. So, for $5, Dead or Alive Ultimate, I'm okay with that. And I like fighters, you know, so it's in my wheelhouse. I'll go the extra mile for a fighter, especially if it's a fighter that I don't have. You know, if it's something that I don't have, it's not in my collection. I like fighters. So, you know, it's kind of like Baltimore Retro Gaming. He likes shooters. I like shooters too. I'm a big fan of shooters. It's an expensive hobby for one. So you almost never find shooters in the wild. I can't remember the last time I found like a shooter. I mean, people do not let go of those. I mean, it is just crazy. All right, these are some Wii titles. Now, so there's a couple girl titles. There's Monster High 13 Wishes. Monster High 13 Wishes. Here's the other girl title. Hello Kitty Seasons. Hello Kitty Seasons. And then this is really interesting. Speaking of fighting games, Arc System Works, Axis, produced a fishing game on the Wii called Hooked. So the studio that's in charge of some of like the most like high res, beautifully animated fighting games, where you're talking like Skullgirls and Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear, and I mean some of these amazing fighters that these guys have been a part of is Arc System Works, and they made a fishing game for the Wii called Hooked. So I'm like, are you serious? I couldn't resist. So I was going to leave it behind. I said, no, you can't do it. And I got to have a look at it. Look at the girl in the back. I mean, the art looks great. So they do such a wonderful job. I'm wondering if I wouldn't like really like this fishing game. So I literally am going to play that bad boy. So now the original Xbox, only 2 titles. And they're in the invisible cases. Now, this one's a rental. It's a rental case, but I was amazed to find out I don't actually have it in the collection when I reviewed my app. And it's Conflict Global Terror. Conflict Global Terror. So it's in a black rental case, as you can see, but it is complete. So I'll find an OEM case for it. Not so interesting, but it completes my Conflict. I now have all the Conflict games for the Xbox. That was the last one I didn't have. Now this one I was very pleased to see. It's from one of my favorite studios, Pandemic, and it's kind of rare, especially in the wild. So I was like, you got to be kidding me! Is that part 2? Because I do have part 1. So this is Destroy All Humans 2. Make war, not love. So the Pandemic hit, Destroy All Humans. This is the sequel to it. Team up, tune in, turn on, and there's a multiplayer. There's like couch co-op on this bad boy. So, from the aliens of Furon or whatever they are. But yeah, fantastic. I mean, just an amazing game. It's campy. It's great. It's Americana. Destroy All Humans 2. Was really surprised to find that in the wild. Okay, if you want to look at the value of that, let's take a look at that. That might be fun. The value of that game. Let's see here. Xbox. We'll just do Destroy. Destroy All Humans. Now the original game is a $10 title. Destroy All Humans 2 is $11.35. So it's a little bit rarer. But, still, I paid a couple of bucks for it. So, hey, I'm happy with that. It's a great title, and I was really excited to find that for the original Xbox. I mean, a title like Destroy All Humans 2 for the original Xbox, how many of these are floating around out there? Maybe quite a few, and it's from Pandemic, man. I'm going to get it. So, a couple of Xbox 360 games. Okay. Now, both of these are good, solid titles. One of them I was really surprised to find. But anyway, it's Ridge Racer 6 on the Xbox 360. Ridge Racer 6. I've never played this iteration. Always been a fan of Ridge Racer games, and I'm assuming it's the highest quality that this series is known for, as well as Namco, which is just genius. So Ridge Racer 6, totally complete. Yeah, baby. And then Armored Core 4. Again, you don't see these Armored Core games that often in the wild. I was amazed I found Armored Core for Answer. But Armored Core 4 by Sega, by Big Blue, blazing fast mech action. Woo! Nice. All right, now PlayStation 2 was the biggest haul. The most titles, the bulk of this find was PlayStation 2. So some of these are just fill-ins. We'll roll through them pretty quick because there's just so many titles. But Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, did not have it for the PlayStation 2, and this is a greatest hits version. Booyah! It's actually quite a good game. Brunswick Pro Bowling. And if you look, there's like a little shadow man here. There's the bowler. That's you. So it is in impeccable condition. Barely ever used. SingStar Pop 2. I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, when's it going to get SingStar Pop 2 for God's sakes? Well, here it is. SingStar Pop 2, yippity skippity dippity doo. And believe it or not, because of the licensing and the songs on those games, they actually hold their value. Bode Miller Alpine Skiing. I'm like, how obscure is this title? And they put like, they put 12 screenshots on the back. I mean, it looks like it's got something going on. I mean, it's probably pretty cool. But it's Bode Miller Alpine Skiing. Wow. How many alpine skiing games are there? 2? Conflict, Desert Storm, Back to Baghdad, Part 2. This one I have for the Xbox, but I didn't have it for PlayStation. So here it is. Did you want to see inside Bode Miller for the anal retentives? Did you want to see inside Bode Miller? They just like plastered him. They're like the cover, the book, the disc. Just put him on it. All right, here we go. Now this is Dance Dance Revolution Extreme. I have part 2. Now this is an all green case, so it's completely invisible. So again, DDR, it is wonderfully complete. It works with the iToy. How exciting! Now this one's an obscure racer. So if anybody out there, the Corleones, the Filbertos of the world, if they know anything about this game, you let me know, because I don't know anything about this thing. Pro Race Driver. It kind of reminds me of Atari, like Combat. Pro Race Driver, man. And you have a race log. It's hard to make a bad racer. So it looks good. It looks good. There's even a Demolition Derby in here somewhere. International #1 bestseller. So this is a #1 best-selling game, Pro Race Driver. So there's got to be something going on with this thing. It's got a review on here, 9.25 out of 10. Pro Race Driver is a real step forward for the racing game genre. Game Informer, 9.25 out of 10. Put a review right on the cover. Pro Race Driver. Now, this is the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. It's the official game as licensed by the J.R.R. Tolkien Fellowship or whatever. But there it is. It's got some beautiful artwork on the back. I've never played it. There you go. Wow, baby. Totally complete. Here is Kengo, Master of Bushido. Master of Bushido looks really cool. By Crave Entertainment. There you go. Master of Bushido. Samurai Gameage. Now here's another bowling title. AMF Extreme Bowling by Mud Duck. By Mud Duck. It's a ZeniMax little boutique studio. They made Thunderdrome. They made Malice. And they also made AMF Extreme Bowling. So they threw them all with their light work, I guess. But it's kind of cool. It's nice. It looks good. I like the purple and the blue vibe going on there. Pretty cool stuff. All right. Now, this one is the paranormal game. This one, I was actually watching a YouTuber called Jennings. That's the name of his channel, Jennings. And he had a series of the worst games you've never played. And he takes some of the worst games on the PS2 in the PAL region and does these reviews about how terrible they are. And it's relatively entertaining. And I was listening to him on the way to Fort Pierce. And one of the titles that he mentioned was Crazy Frog Arcade Racer. Now, Crazy Frog was an early internet meme, and he was like a ringtone, and he made like, and he just made like a funny noise. And I think he was like they made him into a ringtone, and anyway, he was just an internet meme that was chased by this like red robot guy, and he actually had junk originally. He actually had like a little thingy. He had a little package going. But anyway, that's the whole thing. It was just a very simple meme. But it was very popular during that time. It was like, I think it was like 2005 or 4, something like that. But he was like a big deal. Crazy Frog was like one of the first big hit merchandised internet memes. And they took his junk off. They took his junk off to make him like palatable to kids. And so this is a very obscure game. It's very obscure. So I'm listening to Jennings, and he's like, Crazy Frog Arcade Racer. And I'm like, man, that's weird. I've never seen it. I've never heard of it. I'll probably never run across something like that. And the one boutique pawn shop that I told you about, the nice one, there it was sitting on the shelf. I mean, literally like 2 hours, I would say about maybe like 3 hours before, I was watching a video about this game, and I walk into a pawn shop, and there it's sitting right on the shelf. Crazy Frog Arcade Racer. What are the odds? That to me is like paranormal at some point. That's just bizarre. So anyway, Crazy Frog Arcade Racer. It's garbage, but it's unique. It's a conversation piece. All right, Real Pool. And this has got a little divot out of the case. I didn't even notice it when I got it. But it's just, this was $1. I ran into one store where they had like a whole thing like, hey, here's $1. Take it for $1. So that was $1. Now what's weird about this one is there were 3 SpongeBob games. That was like the leitmotif. 3 SpongeBob games. This is the first of the 3. SpongeBob SquarePants movie game for the PlayStation 2. This is Kinetic for the iToy, which when I saw that I had to laugh, which is probably where Microsoft got the idea for Kinect, because that's a complete and total rip of that. That would almost be a lawsuit. Kinetic, Kinect, iToy Kinect with the iToy. So Sony had a iToy and game combo called Kinetic that would track your movements, and then Microsoft comes out with Kinect and exercise movement games that track your movements. Again, that to me is complete and total plagiarism. And if I was a judge on that case, I would have said, think of another name, Microsoft. SSX3 for the Sony PlayStation, one of the best ones. This one Metal Jesus likes the best. It has a mode where you just go from the top of the mountain all the way down to the bottom, and you could spend like 30 minutes getting down the mountain. It's his favorite version of the game. These are the cheat codes, I think. Yes, yeah, these are cheat codes. So we'll leave them in there, but it's a very nice copy of SSX3. And believe it or not, you don't see SSX3 out there very often. You always find Tricky. And even the original SSX is more common than 3. 3 is uncommon in the wild because people hold on to it. It's a really good version of that game. So it's You Against the Mountain, baby, SSX3, Sony PlayStation 2. This I have for the Wii. It originally appeared on the PlayStation 2. Mercury Meltdown Remix, so it's just you're moving a marble. It's a physics-based game. Okay. That was a buck. Now, here we go again. So we had the movie game, and now we have SpongeBob in Nicktoons Attack of the Toy Box by THQ. Nice. And then we got a game that more than likely is the version of the game that BioArmor likes, which is, and I think Classic Modern Gaming has mentioned this game, is The Incredible Hulk by Sega. Sega PlayStation, or Sony PlayStation 2. Did I say Sega PlayStation? Ooh, sorry, Sega. Anyway, so here you go. It's totally complete. It's a good-looking game. I love the artwork on there. It looks like Hamilton. Hamilton did the artwork for this Hulk game, and it looks really good. It looks really good. And I hear this is the game that is beloved by BioArmor. So you have to let me know and clarify if this is the one. Is this the one? Are you the one or am I the one? Now, last game is a GameCube game, and again, it is SpongeBob the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. So it is a GameCube title. I was so surprised to find a complete GameCube title. The book's a little worn a little bit. Probably some child loved it and looked through it a lot. But the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, this game actually has a little bit of value to it. So let's see. We'll look it up real quick. I think it's $25. I think it's $25. So no. Did I not put this one in? Lights, camera, pants. Oh, is that it? Is that the one? Let's see. Yes, it is the one. Okay. So for some reason it's not the movie, but it says light, camera, action, or lights, camera, pants. But it's $23.18 complete. And that was picked up for a couple of bucks. So that's a winner. That's a big winner. So everybody, that was my super haul. Oh, and by the way, I'm ready, baby. I'm ready. All right, have a happy 4th of July. This is LVO Tour of the Fancy Action Now. A non-controversial video, just game pickups, except for how wonderful those pickups were and how unique and interesting they were. This has been LVO Tour of the Fancy Action Now for the gamer.